position to try and build his confidence worked in the last camp. Of course, he got the goal, his first international goal, but he said he's seen him come back in a completely different player, as Turner has to get there to clear it away. The day, 16th of November 2021, in World Cup qualifying here in Kingston, in this stadium. 1-1 draw. Anthony Robinson, Yunus Musa and Pepe, the three starters that start again tonight. Pulisic coming on midway through the second half of that game.
Well, obviously, you never wish injury on a player at all, but and I'm sure Pepe wishes Balogun speedy recovery, but it's now, because of how serious that injury was, several opportunities where Pepe's just the clear starter now with Balogun not in the camp.
Pochettino said to us that he's had a lot of conversations with Ricardo Pepe this week about his situation, the fact that his development maybe needs to see him start more games, find that consistency in a starting role. He loves his work ethic, he loves his instinct in the box, as that one goes well over from the effort by Tanner Tessman.
Obviously, we talked about his first start. I mean, Tessman, you could see how fluid he is. He's clean. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's got good size. He's a great passer. He's so far doing really well with his first U.S. men's national team start.
He made that move to Lyon in France in August after 3 years in Italy. Tanner Tessman came on off the bench for 25 minutes in a big derby for Lyon against Saint-Etienne at the weekend, a game they won by 1-0. Played the full 90 in a 2-2 draw in the Europa League last week against Hoffenheim as well. And now getting the opportunity to start this one tonight for the US in Jamaica, his first international start, Tanner Tessman. Of course, he was involved in the Olympics, captaining the team in the summer, played every minute in all 4 games at the Olympics. This is Holgate. Through the middle for Latibaudière. Down the right side looking for Leon Bailey.
That little toe poke from Pepe, that's one of the things that, it's subtle. You don't notice it as regularly. He's played well with his back to the goal today. I mean, he obviously has a goal, but he's just constantly trying to work off the ball to disrupt the buildup. And that is one quality that Pochettino has to love about him.
Damari Gray couldn't get it past Musa. Into the 33rd minute of this first leg of the CONCACAF Nations League quarter-final. Jamaica ranked number 61 in the world. Changing manager after Copa America. Lost all 3 games, 1-0 against Mexico, 3-1 against Ecuador, and 3-0 against Venezuela in the Copa America last summer. And just after that, Emil Grimson, the Icelandic head coach of Jamaica, resigned hours after the final group game, after almost 2 years as the head coach. At the time, it was said from both sides that it was nothing to do with the failure at the Copa America, and he turned up 2 weeks later as the new head coach of Ireland, much to the surprise of the people in the Jamaican Federation.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up loving some of the reggae boys, some of the, Theodore Whitmore, some very classy players. And obviously a rival in the region, but the U.S., especially with how the structure of everything, and that we're going to play a lot of the teams around us more often, you want a strong Jamaican side.
Their strongest, of course, the 1998 World Cup. Finished 3rd in their group in France behind Argentina and Croatia. Their only World Cup appearance. A little over 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go until half-time. Steve McLaren taking over in early August. 2 wins and 2 draws from his first 4 games. Succeeded Sven-Göran Eriksson after the 2006 World Cup as the England manager. was fired after failing to qualify for the 2008 Euros. Long list of clubs that he's been in charge of, almost 2 decades as a manager. Former Middlesbrough, Derby County, Newcastle, Queen's Park Rangers, FC Twente, and Wolfsburg boss.
And learning under one of the best.
He knew a bit about the Jamaican Federation, having worked for FIFA. As a global talent development program manager. During his time in that position, spending some time in Jamaica. Bailey picks it up down the right side, slides it through towards Palmer on the edge of the box. Palmer's shot bobbles its way through to Turner. Didn't really have the power, but it needed to trouble the US keeper. Turner starting his 11th straight competitive game for the US. Every game since not starting a second group match at the 2023 Gold Cup. Robinson's ball high forward down the left. Flicked away by Holgate. Into the middle for Latibaudiere. He'll turn and try and wriggle free from the challenge of Tessman, but a free kick is given here. Bell carries it forward. Greg Lee made the early run down the left side. Bell will turn that one into the midfield where Damari Gray tries to battle there with Scally to keep possession. Cross to the right it goes for Holgate. Down the touchline, Lembiksa. Cross is deep, Shimon Nicholson climbs.
Now's the moment for the U.S. and Pochettino. Quick check of the watch. When you're approaching the time, that you have to be very smart of how you see this out. And there's a good ball in. It's just the backpedaling, just always going to be difficult for Nicholson to get power on that. And he's really been on an island by himself. I mean, he's trying to do the work. I think with Jamaica, they really aren't finding any rhythm through that middle of the park.
Referee just having a word there with Christian Pulisic, who has the most caps in the squad. Number 75 today for the 26-year-old from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Didn't play the last game in Mexico after appearing in the previous 10. What a season he is having with AC Milan. 7 goals, 5 assists in 15 games in all competition. He leads the team in goal scoring, started all 4 in the Champions League, scored against Liverpool and Bruges, and then an assist in the 3-1 win against Real Madrid last week at the Bernabeu. And you should have seen his face light up when he was asked to describe what it was like to go and win against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. He said it's at the age of 26. Incredible how many times he's got the chance to play against Real Madrid, but winning at the Bernabeu tops the lot.
I mean, it's staggering. He's got a lot of career left, and it's staggering just in his Rolodex of experiences and moments, what he's accumulated so far in his career. Just obviously, he's their star right now, just putting in incredible performances, consistency, assists, goals. And he's really having a moment.
McKennie plays it back there for Tim Ream. Robinson. This is Damien Lowe. Lowe through the middle. Tessman got a foot to it, played forward by Pulisic towards Pepe. He skips the challenge of Palmer and lays it backwards towards Joe Scally. Scally's 18th cap for his country. Played inside for the goal scorer Ricardo Pepe. Ream out to the far side. Now it's Christian Pulisic up against Lowe. Pulisic gets by the first challenge, plays it back towards the edge of the area where McKennie was waiting. Now it comes for Tessman, back for Weston McKennie. Can he get a shooting opportunity here, McKennie? Is he pushed off the ball by Palmer? Fairly according to the referee, and then Palmer just shrugs away the challenge of Tillman. McKenzie is there to get that ball back to Turner.
Yeah, well done. McKenzie read that angle very quickly. You can see Nicholson just frustrated, because that ball couldn't be played in behind. McKenzie had it read. Mark
McKenzie's 3rd start of the year. Started against New Zealand and then against Panama, his first consecutive start since June of 2021. He would have started in Mexico as well, but left warm-ups due to an injury. Ream. Robinson, 5 minutes to go until the break, plus whatever time is added on. Turner rolls it forward here for Tillman. Tillman, the first half substitute, coming in to replace the injured Johnny Cardoso.
I like this from the U.S. I mean, not going anywhere, but they're just trying to bait Jamaica out. They're calm, they're composed. Just look for those moments that you can break between those lines. It's the right way to manage the first half out.
Turner finds McKenzie. Coming up next is the Volkswagen halftime show. 1-0 for the US. Sarah Walsh, DeMarcus Beasley and Brian Dunseth will break it down. Scally's ball forward towards Musa at the byline. He did well to get there. And then has Andre Blake kept it in? He has. The flag stays down. As Blake will look to play this one downfield. He'll turn 34 later in November, Andre Blake. 4 clean sheets in his last 5 Jamaica appearances, but he conceded early tonight, just 5 minutes in. It's his 5th start in a row for Jamaica after missing the Copa America with a knee injury. Just finishing off his 11th MLS season. Philadelphia Union goalkeeper. Disappointing season for Philadelphia. He's made the playoffs 7 times, though, in 11 seasons with Philadelphia. Ream. Out for Robinson down the left side.
That's lovely right there. Yeah, 3 very experienced players, calm on the ball in tight spaces. Now you're out the other side.
Now played through for Pepe to chase onto once again. Greg Lee was sliding in there, got a foot to it. It's the 11th meeting between these two teams in Jamaica. 6 of the 10 previous meetings finishing drawn. Winning 3 and losing 1. Blake under pressure there from Tillman, able to get the ball out to the right side. And Bakisa's ball forward. Ream the favourite to get there as Leon Bailey chases, and Turner will clear away. There's to be so much thought goes into every pass and every clearance here on this pitch.
I mean, you could see it, especially when the close-up comes. I mean, the pitch is just getting ripped apart. Just big chunks, big divots laying all over the place. You have to be so sure of your footing and the passes you're making into players. Got to watch that ball all the way to your foot.
Lee down the left in the first leg of this CONCACAF Nations League quarter-final. Damari Gray playing it backwards. He saw his penalty stopped by Matt Turner. Blake out to the far side. Three-time MLS goalkeeper of the year, got the Golden Glove in the 2017 Gold Cup. Came off injured in that Gold Cup final, which Jamaica lost by 2-1 to the US, with Altidore and Jordan Morris scoring. Played forward by Amari Bell. Now Damari Gray, he's got Nicholson ahead. Also there Leon Bailey to the right. A little bit of frustration creeping in both on the bench and in the stands in the office.
And the tough part, and you look at Gray staring at the sky, a very talented player on the ball, just not getting a lot of minutes. You know, it's hard to come in when you're not playing regularly with your club team, and so that's the hard part. Is most of the experienced players in this side, you know, even if you look at Blake, who's their best goalkeeper by far, just not playing regularly with their club team. It's hard to just hit that form, especially as the game wears on.
6 clean sheets in 14 MLS games for Andre Blake, who missed the middle of the season due to injury with Philadelphia. Referee is blown here for a free kick. Christian Pulisic wanted to be allowed to play on there. The referee pulling this one back for a free kick. The US unbeaten in their last 7 games against Jamaica since a 1-0 friendly defeat in DC in June of 2019. A game that Ream and Anthony Robinson started. 4 minutes of stoppage time being played at the end of the first half as Musa plays it down the right side, drops towards Tillman, and Tillman's cross into the box just lit away there by Mason Holgate. Taken quickly for Scally, down the right side now for Weston McKennie. McKenzie across the back for Ream. Ricardo Pepi will go across to chase. Jamaica will look to play it out of the back here as it comes across for Amari Bell. Bell floating the ball forward, over the top, looking for the run here of Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray trying to get around McKenzie, who gets back well. Gray waiting for the support, and the referee calling it back now as the flag went up late for offside.
Really well done from McKenzie. He doesn't know that flag's up, and obviously the game goes on. Does well not only to track and get into position, just move his feet and make it hard for Gray. Here's another look at it. Just left foot, leaning in an offside position.
There is VAR tonight, which is why the assistant on the far side kept his flag down for so long. Almost midway through the 4 minutes being added on. There haven't been too many opportunities for the US going forward, but Matt Turner, apart from that penalty that he saved, has not been troubled particularly either.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little sloppy, but it's honestly to be expected. I like that the US is still trying to play out of the back, even though the conditions really don't make that an easy enterprise. They've been confident on the ball, and in the moments that they have been a little bit sloppy, they've been quick to get back, get numbers behind the ball. Weston a few times has come back to help out defensively. I just think at times in transition, they don't need to go for the killer pass right away. They don't need to take the space. Sometimes they can just establish a little bit of a rhythm and try to see the game out that way and force Jamaica to have to recover and have to slide left and right. They don't want an open match that's back and forth.
Weston McKennie, the player that is down for the United States. Two former Premier League managers going head-to-head, Mauricio Pochettino and Steve McClaren. They did meet once before, back in December of 2015. The old White Hart Lane, where Steve McClaren's Newcastle won by 2-1 against Pochettino's Spurs, with an Jose Perez winner in the 93rd minute.
That's the right decision. There were a few long runs, and rather than just play a low percentage pass and turn the ball over, just establish a little possession here.
Musa down the right. Tillman, cross for Ream. McKenzie. Ball played forward down the right, looking for Scally. Out of play for a Jamaica throw, with what will probably be the last act of this first half. Ricardo Pepi's goal after just 5 minutes has the United States in front. The 12th goal of his international career. It was assisted by Christian Pulisic that has the United States in front at half-time. Matt Turner fouling Nicholson and then saving Demarai Gray's penalty from the spot. And the United States hold the advantage as they look to try and win the CONCACAF Nations League once again. They have won all 3 Nations League titles since this tournament came into being. this year, beating Mexico 2-0 in Arlington with goals from Tyler Adams and Gio Reyna. In 2023, they beat Canada by 2-0 thanks to Richards and Balogun. And in 2021, that incredible game against Mexico when Christian Pulisic scored the winning goal from the spot in extra time in Denver. Doesn't look as if there are any changes for the United States, but it looks as if Isaac Hayden may be coming on here for Jamaica. In fact, a double change because Ronaldo Cephas is coming in as well. So Steve McLaren going to his bench as they look to try and find a way back into the game. And Isaac Hayden comes in for a debut. 29-year-old from England, former England youth international, qualifies for Jamaica through his dad. Hasn't been going well for him of late at club level. He's been with Newcastle since 2016, but has been forced to train with the under-21s, not in Eddie Howe's plans. He's had a couple of loan spells, and he hopes that coming to join this Jamaican squad will really allow him to get back to playing some game time and get a move. The US started in positive manner at the opening of this game, and now Musa gets into the box as well, but he couldn't find Christian Pulisic as that ball was played back across. Across the back they go, with Mark McKenzie playing it across towards Tim Ream, a 65th cap for Ream, who will head home, of course. 37-year-old from St. Louis playing in his hometown on Monday night in the second leg of this game.
Yeah, and you wonder if those adjustments, those substitutions mean a formation change, and haven't really seen it in the flow, but I do see Hayden, we know plays in the midfield, might move them into a back four so they can try to get on the ball, Jamaica, a little bit more, try to press through that midfield.
Dexter Lembikisa and Damari Gray, the two players to make way as Isaac Hayden and Ronaldo Cephas came in. Cephas, the 24-year-old, plays in Turkey. In fact, it was Greg Lee, the left-back, leaving the game. Lembikisa on the right side stays in. As this ball is played high into the box, and Andre Blake came a long way to get there, brought down here by Yunus Musa. Musa towards the byline here, does well to get into the box. And then in the battle with Amari Bell, goes out for a goal kick. Same 11 on the pitch for the US that started the game. Just those two changes at the break for Steve McLaren and for Jamaica. First CONCACAF Nations League semi-final appearance when they played against the US and lost in extra time in Arlington back in March. Finished third in the Nations League, beating Panama in the third place match after losing that semi-final against the United States. Picked up in the midfield here by Hayden. Forward by Bell. Down the left side it's Cephas.
Bell in that wide position. That doesn't look like they have moved into a back four with Cephas out on that side. I mean, he still could be a wing back playing very high, but I'd imagine they moved him to this back four. You saw Hayden already getting into a tackle.
Joe Scally will take the throw down the right side. Gets it back there from Christian Pulisic. Scally's 10th start of the year. Now good footwork from Tanner Tessman. And the free kick given here by the referee.
You missed a lovely bit of footwork on the front end of that for Tessman. Just evasive, draws penalty. And this is a dangerous area here, especially when you consider Pulisic, how great he's been with his set pieces at club team level. I mean, he's just been on point. Are the runs going to be there?
Been a real strength of his game of late with AC Milan, the set-piece delivery. Christian Pulisic this time curls it in towards that back post. Tim Ream can't quite get there. Pepe chasing across to the near side, but it took a flick off a defender on the way through, so this will be a US throw. Pepe scoring 5 goals in his 3 league starts this season for PSV. 6 goals in 11 league games in total. This is Weston McKennie. Just lost his footing there, and then a tug of the jersey of Leon Bailey. And a yellow card to be shown for Weston McKennie. McKennie's first appearance since the 1-0 defeat against Uruguay at the end of the Copa America group stage.
You see his foot come out from underneath him. You know, Ream's right there. You wonder if he does actually have to make that foul and take that yellow card.
It's gone out off Lembikisa. Scoring the goal to win that third-place match in the Nations League back in March against Panama. It was his first international goal. Played towards Bailey down the right side. And Mbekisa. Damian Lowe turning it all the way back to Andre Blake. 29 clean sheets and 79 caps for Blake heading into this one tonight. And Lowe towards halfway, plays for Al Okdoud, the 31-year-old defender in the Saudi Pro League. Bailey looking to play it all the way out towards that far side, and it's Sifas, the half-time substitute, who's running towards the edge of the US penalty area. Musa trying to halt the run. Sifas might have a go from the edge of the area. It skips wide of goal. Turner untroubled.
You heard the crowd get into the match with that change of the point of attack. Right when he gets this ball, he's just thinking, go at the back line. And you know, right here, this chop just doesn't set him up. He still has to take an extra touch, and just running away from the goal, it's going to be so difficult to be able to put something on target with pace and accuracy. I mean, it's still a tight match, and you wonder if this tactical adjustment allows Jamaica to get more into the match, establish a little more possession, try to dominate that midfield. These and the guys were talking about it at halftime. You know, it's one area that sometimes they have been easy to play through. The U.S. It just hasn't been enough Jamaican players around to create anything.
U.S. winning just one of their last 9 away games in CONCACAF. That was the 7-1 win at Grenada in the Nations League in March of 2023. Only scoring multiple goals once in those last 9 games. The one clean sheet as well. They have the clean sheet through 52 minutes so far, and Mbekisa pulling back the arm of Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, he's got a good point here. I mean, if Weston McKennie, you know, almost 100 yards from the goal gets a yellow card for stopping an attack, you know, why right there is Christian Pulisic is driving in behind.
Mauricio Pochettino, I'm sure, making the same point.
For sure.
In the ear of the fourth official, Pulisic swings it in over the top of Ream. US Soccer on TNT is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Free kick here, just inside the half. In the last 9 for the US since winning the Nations League final against Mexico in March. Those victories against Bolivia and Panama, both by 2-0. The only clean sheets they've had in that run. Musa down the right side. Back it comes here towards Tessman. Scally. Tillman in the midfield helps it out towards Ream. This is Robinson. Anthony Johnson's ball inside. Tillman helps it on. Tessman once again just plays that lovely curled pass out to Musa on the right side. Musa looking for the early ball, whipped into the middle. Couldn't find Pepe. Pulisic picks it up at the byline here as the chase goes towards the corner flag.